and welcome to the Games Lift Graduation 2025. We are super happy to be here on site at the Design Centrum in Hamburg with such a wonderful crowd. Thank you for joining us, and also on our live stream on YouTube. And we are here for a special occasion because we have some 5 teams here in Hamburg which have been very busy the last months, and they will show their progress of the games and they will share it with us tonight. When I'm talking about we that are presenting this show, this means we are Gamecity Hamburg. We are the local initiative in the city for supporting and connecting the games industry in Hamburg and beyond. And we are part of a bigger organization called Hamburg Kreativgesellschaft. And Hamburg Kreativgesellschaft is responsible for supporting the creative industries in the city of Hamburg. I'm Dennis.
And I'm Helen, and we are going to be your hosts for tonight. We're very happy to see so many of you here in support of our graduating teams. So I'd like to say welcome. Also a special welcome to the Ministry of Culture and Media here in Hamburg, who make this whole evening and the incubator possible. Also welcome to all the industry professionals who are part of our Games Lift network. You truly always have an open ear and our team's backs. And of course, a very special welcome to our graduating teams tonight. You are the true stars of the show, of course. Since September, we have accompanied 5 game dev teams throughout the incubator. During this time, they received workshops, talks, and mentoring sessions with the goal of bringing their games to the next level. Tonight, we will see what the 5 Games Lift teams achieved during this time. And of course, we will celebrate those achievements. First of all, with you who are sitting here before me, but of course also with everyone who's watching the live stream right now. And if you're watching the live stream, welcome. Also, welcome to the chat. My colleague Anna will update it with links and the social media of the teams and any other input she can give. But we would also love to see your comments, your cheers for the teams who are graduating tonight.
And while we are talking about the live stream, so one very important person for Games Lift is missing tonight, and this is our colleague Maggie. And Maggie is really, yeah, please. Maggie is really the heart and soul of our Games Lift Incubation Program here in Hamburg. And when we started the whole thing in 2020, she ramped it up from the ground, and also this year again together with Helen.
I thought it would be awkward, but this was even worse.
Helen and Maggie run the whole thing, and so I'm here as a little replacement for the show, but really props are going to my colleagues here. This is what I wanted to state really much. So, best get well wishes to you at home, Maggie, and thank you for the great work here. And as I just mentioned, so Games Lift started in 2020. And when you have a program running for several years, this comes with several traditions. And one tradition you will not know, but it's like the internal running joke with us, is that each time internally we agree on a date for this graduation, then the Deutscher Entwicklerpreis comes around and announces the exact same date than we, and then we think about and say like, hey, maybe we will do it a little bit later, and so maybe we will do it on December 16. So here we are, and that's fine. Another tradition for the Games Lift Incubation Program is that we receive many more applications than we have spots in the program. And this year, this was a new record for us, so we had more than 40 applications for 5 spots in the program, and we really saw super talented teams and very cool game pitches. And so this means that the 5 teams with us in this year's Games Lift program really out to the competition from the first step on. And our awarding committee really looked at all the applications, and the 5 teams really stood out because they not only have like this great ideas and vision of the game, but also they showed courage to really bring it to life. And during the workshop phase, our teams really took a lot of decisions which really need some courage. So we saw teams which changed the general setting of the game. We saw teams that really thought about the overall team structure, and we also had things like killing your game design darlings, and all of this taking courage to take the next steps with the projects. And what we are doing with Games Lift is that we urge all teams participating that they really put the serious questions about the game planning, the project plan, and also the business plan up front, and really tackle the questions you would like to do a little bit later. But yeah, all of you really went through it and did it with great effect. So tonight, really the stage is for the teams. But before we're coming to this part of the show, let's take a look back on the program over the last 3 months.
Yeah, because before we look at the results, we should of course do a previously on Games Lift segment. For those of you who stumbled into this event and have no idea what it is or what even the incubator is, this is the goal of the incubator, enabling indie studios to successfully develop and market their games. We do this by providing them with knowledge, with financial support of 15,000 euros, a network, and of course, hopefully, some guidance. Actually, we tweak the incubator's features every single year to better fit the current needs of our game devs. So let's have a quick look of what that looked like this year. So first up, on September 8th, we had our traditional kickoff event. I see our teams glancing at the picture, thinking like, it's been so long, we've come so far. Perfect, that's what we want. So yes, September 8th, it's been a while. This was actually the time when the teams met for the very first time. The 5 teams came together, shared their concepts, shared their ideas with one another, and they also met their mentors for the first time and had their very first mentoring sessions. This was also an important date because they received the first half of the 15,000 euros of financial support. And just a couple of days later, they started their workshop program. I'd say it was a very intense but also very fun day, and I hope you all agree. Because after that, things got even more intense, very busy, I'd say, with the next couple of weeks bringing a lot of workshops, a lot of talks, just a ton of input overall. The workshops, they're actually in part online and on-site. They cover topics like business, marketing, strategic topics for game developers, but actually no like development topics. They all had to learn that before entering here. As you can see on these pictures, they involve a whole lot of sticky notes, a lot of creative exercises, and thankfully, a lot of laughter as well. Just to give you an idea what exactly happened during those workshops and talks, here's a little insight. We always get some new topics in here. For example, this year we had Marie Meyerwell. She provided some insight on project and scope management, which of course is very important for indie projects. A returning guest was Thomas Reisenegger. He's the founder of Future Friends Games, and he gave some insights into PR basics for indies. We also had a returning speaker with Kesha Curran, who always does a very popular talk on market analysis for indies. And another newcomer in our program was Sophie Atkins, who gave some insights on self-publishing. One of the biggest marketing stars in the games industry, of course, Gutowski, he gave an online talk on the biggest marketing mistakes and how to avoid them. Very important part. And this, of course, goes hand in hand with Simon Carlis, who gave a talk on perfecting your game hook.
Yeah, we also brought some numbers. So over the course of the last 3 months, our program saw 19 workshops on-site here in Hamburg, but also online with the international mentors we had. And yeah, what we also could enable the teams to do is test the waters at the first also games industry event. So we visited the Polaris convention in October here in Hamburg, and we really had workshops running yeah, for many weeks, and the team know when I'm saying like, okay, somebody has to develop the game. But yeah, still, we come to that later because it was a very intensive and packed workshop phase the teams are coming out of. And also we are super happy that we have this fine folks around the whole globe in our so-called Games Lift network. And so whenever questions come up within the teams, then we can direct them to certain industry contexts, which will always help them and are eager to support. And yeah, so this is a big day after 3 intensive months, but that's not all. So the Games Lift Incubator is designed in a way that you're here right now, and after a day and an evening of celebrating, then yeah, also from next week on, you will get also the second part of funding, and then you can get really back into development, and we will do regular check-ins next year. So the first are planned for February, that we meet again, also here in Hamburg, in the space, then doing some playtesting and mentoring sessions. And we are really looking forward to bringing you to an industry event that we also attend this together. This is planned for May. And then, yeah, we will be together until the next 6 months. So with the final playtesting and mentoring sessions scheduled for summer. So you're not getting rid of us so soon. Yeah. But as Helen already mentioned, and like the stage is only here for the teams and the presentations, so yeah, let's come to this part of the show and start what the teams are cooking in the last months.
Yeah, or as I would like to say, let's get this graduation race started. Have any of you ever noticed how many horse-related phrases there are in both English and German? I could say, for example, about our first team that they certainly earned their spurs together before entering the incubator. Even better, I'm dead certain that with their ingenious style and with a clever mix of puzzles, Sharon and Vincent are not backing the wrong horse. So please, welcome.
Yeah, hello everyone. We're so happy and excited to be here tonight, and we brought you the wrong horse. But before we dive in, we would like to invite all of you to the center of our game, which is the grandstand at a horse racing track, where the starting gates just opened and the horses gallop off. It doesn't take long before they start approaching the finish line, when suddenly the loud cheering is interrupted by a bang. A gunshot? A cry goes up from the crowd. What has happened here?
The Wrong Horse is a colorful murder mystery adventure in which the players investigate the grandstand of a horse racing track to solve the case of a dead jockey. That is the hook to our game, which we estimate to be 3 hours long in the end. We are developing mainly for PC and especially for Steam, and our target audiences are the achievers and explorers. So on the one hand, we want to speak to people who are already familiar with the detective genre and who want to solve a complex case. And on the other hand, we want to speak to people who want to experience an interesting storyline and who want to explore an interesting world. And here are some of the Steam tags we are planning on using, like, for example, detective, investigation, or mystery. You can navigate the game world using the mouse. This brings me to our core game mechanic. This way, you can interact with the scenery, you can collect evidence, and you can talk to various characters. And through that, you gather clues, and you can find new tracks, which will help you solve this case. And these tracks are pretty important. They will be added to your case files, which is a separate UI menu you can see here, in the shape of various riddles and challenges. And there, you can drag and drop in these text snippets, the clues you found in the game world. If you are familiar with the detective genre, you might recognize this style of deduction gameplay. We want to take that a step further and really double down on the gameplay metaphor of the case file. And we want to do that by including a variety of handcrafted puzzles that also tie into our narrative design. And lastly, when you finished one of those tracks, when you filled it in completely, your answer will be immediately checked. And if your solution is correct, you can unlock new areas in the game world, you can confront characters with newfound evidence, make them talk, until you can finally answer the biggest question that's been bugging you since the beginning. Who killed the jockey?
Yeah, so Vincent and I are both fans of a range of detective stories and games. And therefore, creating our own excited the both of us. Over the past few weeks, we have spent a lot of time thinking about what makes our game so special and where we want to take this project. Because of the ever-growing case file that Vincent just showed us, we want to offer a special experience between our narrative and our puzzle design. Your case file will accompany you through the game and will be the spot to gather all your clues and solve some bugging questions. We both are trained illustrators, and therefore the visuals are very important to us. We want to create a unique and immersive world in which you can engage with a variety of colorful characters. Our illustrations are not only a communication tool between the two of us, but will also play a big part for the atmosphere that we want to create. And lastly, we want people to be nosy, because that's our favorite part when engaging in detective stories. It's all about developing theories, putting the blame on possible suspects, and figuring out their schemes. That is exactly the feeling that we want to give to our players. After all, nothing feels better than simply being right about everything in the end. So, now that we gave you some insights on our game, we would also like to quickly introduce ourselves to those who haven't met us yet. My name is Sharon, and for this project, I am responsible for the art direction, including the concept art and also the project management.
And I'm Vincent. I do the programming and game design, and I'm also a supporting artist as well.
And we have known each other for a while now. Like I mentioned, we're both trained illustrators, and we met through our studies. And over the past year, we have participated in several game jams together. Some of them you can see on our slide. And those projects actually gave us the motivation to take on an even bigger one, which we brought you tonight. And we took our chances and applied for this year's incubator. And obviously that worked out. Here we are. We are so excited. That's how our journey began back in September. And to us, it was so great to meet so many new people from the games industry in Hamburg. Also getting insights on the other team's development process and seeing how they approach different obstacles helped us a lot to tackle our own challenges. We already heard that we participated in a lot of workshops over the few weeks, and topics like marketing analysis, marketing strategy, and how to put our game in a larger product field context was something we only had little experience with. Also, pitching to a broader audience was something totally new, and of course, a good pitch still needs to be well rehearsed, but hopefully we're not doing so bad at this point. Yeah, those were just a few examples. I could go on much longer, but because of all of those experiences, we feel much more confident in the way that we work and how to get an idea on how to structure ourselves in the future. The incubator helped us to see what timeframes are realistic and acknowledge that some workloads might take a little longer than we originally thought.
You might have noticed today is the graduation. The main part of the incubator is over. So what's next for us? First off, we are really excited to finally found our own company in the first quarter of the next year. This will help us to build our own identity as a studio, and we want to use it to apply for further fundings. These we want to use for the next step, which is actually making the game. We want to kick off production of the Wrong Horse with our prototype. As we are in concept phase right now, we are still figuring out what additional work we will need. But we will definitely need external help in areas like animation and sound design. And as we make a puzzle game, we will need a lot of playtesters. So if you're interested in the game, feel free to contact us online, talk to us after the presentations. We would love to connect. And lastly, our ambitious target for release, early 2027. That's when the game should be out if everything goes to plan. We are really happy about everybody who's been interested in the project so far. We are really grateful for the opportunities the incubator has given us and the people we've met. And we are really excited for the next year and the years to come. And that brings me to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. And please feel free to contact us.
Thank you for this beautiful, stylish presentation. I can't wait to become one of the very first playtesters, I hope. But I think there's someone else who would like to say some positive and glowing words about you. So I'd like to welcome to the stage business development consultant and Games Lift mentor, Björn Bergstein.
Hi. When you first see this team, they appear calm, confident, and joyful. But if you get to know them a little better, you quickly realize how much excitement and nervous energy lies beneath the surface. That's totally okay. You can feel the commitment and the hard work of the team. In the incubator, they keep stepping forward, openly, entertainingly sharing their project and their creative process. That shows how deep their project impacts themselves. With the wrong horse, they bring more than love to the detective genre. They also bring their own personal art style and subtle, intelligent sense of humor. Even in the presentation, and you just see it, I was directly convinced of their charm and creativity. But coming not from a traditional game design, making games could be hard. But focusing on their strengths in illustration and their knowledge from game jams, they are a strong example of what the game industry stands for. Creating the best experience for the audience with the things you can and have. For me, it has been a pleasure to work with such a creative, open, and supportive team. And we are all looking forward to playtest your game. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Björn. I think I'm looking into some glowing faces now, too. So, detectives, I've got questions for you. First up, of course, as we all saw, your game has a really beautiful, bold, unique, and colorful style. How did that develop? Did you immediately start out like that, or did you try something different first?
Yeah, we actually, funny thing, worked on two separated detective games before we decided to join forces. Vincent was a little bit more far ahead, and he already had a few sketches that looked much different than what we saw tonight. It was more pixel art and even colors that were more vibrant. And yeah, when we started out working on The Wrong Horse, we sat down and looked at what we both liked and yeah, what components we want to work with. That's how we ended up with that color palette and those bulky shapes that you saw tonight.
So glad you followed your instincts. I'd say case closed on this one. Yeah, another question I have. Of course, as we know, writing a good mystery often means settling the horse from the back. So I was wondering, how do you approach both like designing the puzzles but also crafting the case?
Yes, it's a bit like you said. We also started from the back, so we started with writing the actual murder case and are now in the process of piling up mysteries after mysteries to hopefully get that feeling for the players that they can really peel back a mystery and find another one underneath. And we take a similar approach with the puzzle design as well. We really want to make sure that this is really tied into our narrative, but we are also really visual people, so we want to make them visual stunning as well. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for these insights. Thank you so much for your work during the incubator. And I think I'm speaking for the entire audience. We can't wait to see what 2027 brings for you. Thank you.
Yeah. As a solo developer, you not only need a strong hook and a vision for your game. Game development, in the end, is not a sprint, but a marathon. So it's better to keep a topic that's close to your heart. And Leif did exactly that during the game's incubation phase. With Ungradable, he is working on a game about grading trading cards, sometimes even cursed trading cards. So please welcome together with me, Leif.
Yes, hello and welcome to my presentation of Ungradable Twisted Card Grading, where anomaly horror meets job simulation. And before I dive into the game itself, I want to quickly talk about myself. My name is Leif. I'm a game developer since 2017, and I've been working on I've been working in software development since 2014. And here are some games that I've been working on. You might know Light of Atlantis, where I supported the team with level design and game design. And then I had some bigger prototypes as well some game jam games that are quite small, but they were also exploring the horror genre, which is really one side of the puzzle for my new game. The other one being trading cards. I really love trading cards. I've been collecting them since I was very young, and these have been hanging on my wall since at least 15 years or so. And now I want to bring these two things together with my game Ungradable. It's a horror card game, and here's a little teaser for you. All right, so that is Ungradable. And Ungradable plays in a society that depends on collectible trading cards, whereas some of these cards are bound by some kind of dark magic. And this power threatens to consume anyone who tries to wield those cards. And it is your job to seal away those cursed powers. So you are a card grader. And as a card grader, you basically have to find and contain anomalies within those cards. And for that, this is where the whole mixture of like horror meets inspection comes in. And these people who like these kind of games can expect a playtime of 4 to 5 hours. So what do you actually do? You have a card on your desk. You can maybe use a transparent overlay to see if the print is aligned. Or you can maybe move the card a little bit around and see if there's any scratches on the foil. And you can use a magnifying glass to really dig deep into the details. But then there's also some more unorthodox methods, which you might think at the first glance doesn't just damage the card. But then again, we are looking for anomalies. And this is how they might look like. So we have here a few examples. They can be quite small, like just missing details in the background. Or maybe there's a scratch message inside, which you can only reveal using the right tools. And then maybe the face is missing, or the card starts whispering something. And then whatever is happening over there could also be something that appears for you. So this is the whole inspection part of the game loop. After that, you have to contain the card. For that, you use a grading form to see what kind of observations that you make and fill it out. And this will then generate a magic seal for you that you can use and apply to the card to contain it in a hard case. And if you've done everything correctly, you might survive. If not, this card will break out, and we'll see what kind of fate will then come to you and end your job maybe quite early. So what are my unique selling propositions? It's really a thing of two sides, one of them being an untapped profession of card grading. So it's really not about some kind of gaming rules in the card grading, trading cards themselves, but more really about the artwork. And the other side is it being a fresh spin on anomaly and horror. And I call this paranoia at your desk, where you really have to dig deep into the card design, but you don't really want to do that, because that's where the horror has to creep in. So let's now take a step back and see what was there in the beginning. Well, there was nothing in the beginning. Then there was the Games Lift journey. And this kind of juxtaposition is really what describes my first weeks of the incubator, where I really realized this whole thing is getting quite real now. And it was very exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking. So I'm very happy to have been accompanied by very lovely 4 other teams, as well as the whole network and the people behind Gamecity as well, of course. And they've been supporting me in all various fields. For example, the whole concept of the game. A little shout out to Michael Schieben's workshop, which was about product field, where it really opened up quite early on which kind of questions do I have about my projects, getting the right questions out right away. Then I designed a roadmap this is really just a shout out to the whole thing, because it was really the mixture of all the different kinds, the diversity of the whole incubator, like looking at which milestones do I have to account for, and what about marketing, when to do it, how to do it for my specific game. And then there was the whole communications part. Again, a big shout out to Stefan Rühl's workshop, who has been really helping us with pitch training for publishers, but also for open spaces like this. And also it helped me to communicate my game better to people who I want to work with. And lastly, I changed my name, which was really important to me. For those who knew the game before, it was Encaged and Ungraded, and now it's Ungradable, which is really speaks to me and has a better flow to me. And also the other teams helped quite a lot to get to this name, because there was a lot of names that did not make the cut, because they can in the end only be one. So a little look into what are the next steps. There will be a closed demo at some point soon, and I hope that I can also playtest this on some event like Experian as well. And I will use this then to apply for the prototype funding. And in this process, I will be founding my company, which I also have spent some work on to how to approach this early next year. And yeah, that's about one thing. A big thanks to Susanne Sakli as well as Nadine Österreich, who's been both supporting me with concept art and key art, and especially Nadine for also doing some art direction with me in the background. And as you can see, I'm not an artist. I made the little fingers there just to butcher Nadine's artwork. If you're an artist and you like to work on trading cards, then hit me up on LinkedIn over there. I would love to connect, and maybe we can create something great together. And yeah, with that, I conclude my presentation of Ungradable, and thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you, Leif. Your applause. Before we are getting to a couple of questions, we want to hear from one of our Games Lift mentors. So we have a video message here from Manny Hachey, co-founder of Positive Impact Games and Senior Director of Developer Success at Xsoller.
Hi, Leif. I hope you're doing fine and that development for your game is going well. I have to say, it's rare that I am so impressed with a first-time pitch and a first-time concept. Now, I'm not a horror fan. I don't watch horror movies. I don't watch horror games. But when I saw your game, Ungradable, something about it made me think, people are going to love this. It's one of these unique matches and mixes of genres that don't come across too often, something that not a lot of people have tried so far, and yet still following a popular and well-tracked trend. I'm really excited to see where we're going to go with this game. And I'm sorry again for having thrown you a little bit in front of the bus at the beginning of our relationship. For those who don't know, I was so impressed with Leif's project. The visuals, the concept, I thought publishers are going to love this. They're going to lap it up. And so one of the first things that I did was introduce Leif to a scout that I know from a company where the genre would have been quite suitable. And if not for them, then at least he would have known other publishers with whom Leif could potentially have worked. Of course, this was a little bit too much, too quickly, too much niceness too early. But Leif did really great, worked on his pitch deck, produced something that was actually very impressive. And I think even to this day, whenever you're ready, and I know it's going to come, you'll be able to reach out to that scout again and be, hey, now the game can be played. Let's talk. And I hope that you continue working on this great title, because it is a really great idea. And I know it's never easy to be a solo developer, and I'm happy to see that you take support and network within Hamburg and all of the support that it has to offer you. So we're here and really excited to see where you're going to go with this game. Very impressed with what you have done so far. It's very original. It has appeal. And even from just a couple of slides, I see in people's eyes, they go, wow, I've not seen that before. I'm intrigued, I'm curious. And this peak of interest is really what you're looking for when you're discussing with publishers, investors, and eventually, of course, the players, which I'm sure are going to love your game because it is so unique and still caters to something that so many people have done for such a long time, which is card collecting. Everybody loves cards. So best of luck to you. Whenever you need anything, we're all here and rooting for you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, so with Manny, you had one of the first fans right off, and also when you entered the application phase, so also your early concept really spoke to the jury and also to us. Manny mentioned that it's like different to certain target groups, like how much horror they would like to see in a game. So do you have an idea how scary the final game will gonna be?
Well, it's not gonna be like a jump scary kind of game. It's more gonna be like atmospheric horror. So if like it's not an adrenaline pump like instantly, but more like think more of a like curve. And this curve can sometimes be more quick, sometimes slower. But I also love that the player will have some kind of control over this. Like they will choose the tool to use, and they expect maybe something to be there. And when they use the tool, then there will be something. This just won't immediately jump at you. That's not what I want to do. But maybe it might come a little quicker sometimes, and might be a little slower sometimes.
Yeah, also because you're mixing in some job simulations there. Maybe when it's getting too scary, there's time for lunch or something. Then you can simply press pause at this. And also you mentioned in your presentation that some cards are on your wall for 15 years already. So you can relate to collecting trading cards as many out there can. What exactly makes the trading card so fascinating to you?
Well, that's interesting. I mean, there's multiple parts. There's one thing. I mean, the artwork themselves. I know that as a young child, I was just very much collecting those cards. I didn't really read them or knew how to read them. I didn't know how to play with them. So just being inspired by the artwork, just collecting them, putting them in folders. And this is really the second part, which I think I really want to also get into my game is the haptics of cards. Because everyone who has been playing around with cards, collecting them, they will use them in some kind of like, sometimes maybe like a fidget toy or something, or just looking at them at the side and just going through them, almost, I don't know, like a mafia boss going through money and just seeing what you have. And yeah, I really want to try to get this into the game as well, through mostly sound effects as well, just having this little sound effects that the cards make and being very subtle with it.
Yeah, in best case, it is really that it's some money in your hands, and it's always like the make-believe that some of the cards might be super, yeah, wealthy. So, thank you so much. This is your applause, and we're really looking forward, yeah, to your game.
Thank you.
Have you ever thought about how hard adventuring in a dungeon can truly be? There are tons of enemies, the competition of other adventurers, there's twists and turns in the layout, and there's barely any food. Well, Calluna Games took all of these elements, they added some heat, stirred it around, and will now serve you the result, Project Slimepot. Please give a warm welcome to Basti and Mo.
Hi, we are Calluna Games, and we are excited to talk about Project Slimepot, our hack-and-snack adventure game. In our game, you play as a little Wolpertinger who's on a journey or trapped in a dungeon. It's vast and mysterious. There are a lot of dangerous monsters, and there's seemingly no escape to the dungeon. And what's even worse, there's no food anywhere. So before you suffer the same fate as all the other starving adventurers, you decide to take your blade and take the fight to those nasty fiends and slay those monsters and cook them into weird but actually quite delicious meals. And with that solution to your own stomach rumbling at hand, you decide to help the other adventurers as well and start your quest to slay, cook, and serve. So slay, cook, serve is basically our phrase for our main game mechanics and our core game loop. In the slay part, you'll explore the dungeon. It's a classic Zelda-style top-down layout. You'll use your skills and your tools to traverse the rooms, open doors, maybe bash in a door with the skill, and then fight off the monsters in a timing-based combat. You exploit their weaknesses, look for weak spots in their defense, and with the correct timing, you can slay the monsters, and after that, hopefully, loot their ingredients. You can loot stuff like their meat, obviously, but also weirder things like eyes, or even this ammonite head you can see here. And after those energetic and stressful moments in the dungeon, you try to find a safe spot somewhere. You set up your camp, get out your cooking gear, and start cooking. The cooking system is combination-based. You combine different ingredients from different monsters to discover unexpected variations of classic meals you might know, or even completely new and unique monster meals that have unique perks, like granting you dark vision to see in the dark or something like that. The delicious smell of your cooking attracts other starving adventurers. As I said, everyone is pretty hungry in this dungeon. So they smell your delicious food and join you at your table. You can share your cooked meals with them, and when they are happy and satisfied with what you give them, they reward you with items or tools to use in the dungeon, or even join you in your adventuring party. And that concludes our game loop of slay, cook, and serve. Every power-up you gain by serving your companions is useful in the dungeon. It opens new doors and unlocks new paths. And those paths lead to new monsters. Those new monsters lead to new ingredients you can cook into new dishes. And those new dishes will unlock new powers, new companions, which will then help you again in the dungeon. So it's a loop that goes on and on and on. So you might wonder, what makes our dish special? First off, you are what you eat. Every combination of ingredients will reward you with new buffs that can fit your playstyle. And secondly, feast for power. You share a meal with your adventurers, and when they really like it, they will reward you with upgrades, or as I said, join you as companions for the full length of the game. What inspired us to cook this weird and slimy dish, you might ask? Well, first off, the successful anime Delicious in Dungeon. Some of you might know it. There's a group of ragtag adventurers trapped in a dungeon. They have no source of food, and they have to slay monsters and use their meat to survive. And that's exactly the vibe that we are going for as well. And secondly, on a more game part, it's Cult of the Lamp. Obviously, the top-down combat and dungeon movement is something that we do as well. But mostly the cute but super gross and weird 2.5D art style is something that we strive to achieve as well. So now that I've given you a little appetizer of our game, I hand over the imaginary spatula over to Basti. Basti, take it away.
Thank you a lot, Mo. So you heard a lot about the game. Let me finally introduce our team. On the left side, you see Franzi. She's responsible for project management and also supports our programming. When she's not sitting at her PC, you will probably find her at a Ren fair. To my side is Mo. He told you all the information about the game. He's our game designer and writer. And like many other people, and probably also our target audience, he's a big foodie. And finally, there's me. Hi, I'm Basti. I'm the lead programmer of our team. And I simply like bunnies. Since we've been in the industry for several years now, we have a whole package of supporters on our side. On one hand, there's Verena. She's helping us with marketing, art, and also trailers. Then there's Gidon, who will do the sound design of our game. And finally, Adrian, who thankfully did most of the art in our slides, will help us with concept art. So what happened in the last couple of months? First of all, we learned a lot. How to market a game, how to even see if a game is marketable at all, how we can finance on our project, and also a lot of pitching. But it isn't only the incubator workshops that helped us in this matter, but also the people we met along the way. We got to know all the other teams, and we had a very supportive and fun time together. Of course, we also worked on our project. We tested ideas by implementing small feature proof of concepts and collected a lot of feedback in playtests. We used the feedback and the insights we gained in the incubator to refine our overall concept. And to make use of our new knowledge we gained, we started working on a marketing strategy, collected ideas how we want to reach our target audience, and we created a Discord server for Project Slimepot. But what took most of our time, especially in the last couple of weeks, was preparing for founding our very own company, Calluna Games. To give you a little glimpse of what happened in our project specifically, let me tell you about the biggest changes. In the beginning, we were torn between two archetypes, the action-adventure players on one side and the cozy gamers on the other side. So to not make everyone unhappy, we needed to decide. To make a long story short, Project Slimepot will have a focus on action-adventure players, which also fits our main inspiration, Cult of the Lamp, nicely. To reduce the scope and fit our game more to our target group, we minimized the serving part and removed the feature called Tavern Management. Instead, the character will have a feast with his fellow adventurers in his camp. On top of that, we decided on a game setting. As Mo already stated, our main character is not just a weird bunny, but a Wolpertinger, a creature originating from German myths and fables. And that's actually the setting we chose for our game. So, yeah. The only thing left to say is, what are we going to do next? With all the preparation we did and the lessons we've learned, we finally want to found our company, like I said already. Then, to test all of our new ideas, we want to create a new proof concept of our game. And, of course, we will look for additional funding opportunities to get our project even further. So, that's all, folks. Thank you so much for being with us today. And if you would like to follow us on our journey further, don't hesitate to join our Discord server.
Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us, for sharing the beautiful tentacle, fish eye, I don't know what else soup. Can't wait to taste it. And I think same goes for the next Games Lift mentor, coach, and consultant who will join us on stage, in addition to your team member, Franzi. Good timing. So please, welcome to the stage, Franzi and Soeren Lass.
I thought we had a double booking for mentors. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, I've been in the industry, in the games industry for many years, maybe too many years, but enough years that I have gotten access to the big book of video game industry tales. And while I was preparing my talk to you here today, I was reading in it, and I came across a story. And the good thing about this book is it's also a magic book. So it's stories that have happened, it's stories that will or might happen in the future, but also stories that are going on right now. And I found this one story which I thought, this is about you. So I thought rather than making a speech, which other people are much better than me in doing, I thought I pull out the page of the book and read it to you, and maybe you recognize something. So here it comes. So a group of experienced heroes left their home village to set out on a new adventurous journey to find the right place to build a legendary tavern for both travelers and inhabitants in the beautiful but sometimes challenging and dark forest of video games. After they had entered the forest, they suddenly saw a light, which was the renowned Hamburg Games Lift Incubation Shelter and Workshop. They knocked on the door and they were invited in, and decided to stay for a while to prepare for the next part of their journey. They openly engaged with the wise wizards and the other adventurers that had found home in their shelter. Their friendliness and warmth, but also their structure and attitude and experience, soon made them new friends and important companions for their ongoing journey. They embraced the wisdom, skills, and potions they found in the shelter, and listened carefully, as they knew in order to cook a successful video game venture, you need to slay and hack and slay the challenges of marketing and funding. You need to get the right ingredients, whether it's focusing on one visual gameplay direction or the other. And you need to be applying new techniques, because whatever you're cooking, when you want to serve the perfect meal, you need to have the right ingredients, whether it's a delicious slimy stew with a winged eye or a perfectly cooked dragon tail with just a slight taste of mana. But they also realized that even if you stay in a shelter, sometimes there can be surprises. But if you have the right attitude, which you have, there's nothing that can stop you. So Calluna Games, as they're now called, are leaving the shelter, which had become like a home to them, but with good faith and good spirit. Because they know if you embrace coziness and action and find the right balance, you do not really need a tavern where you can cook, because you can cook anywhere, even in a dark dungeon, for heroes and companions, and become a legendary cook while continuing your exciting journey through the dark dungeons and forests of video games. Thank you so much for being a great part of this incubator, and I'm sure the story will continue successfully, and wish you all the best for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Soeren, for sharing this mythical folk tale with us. I can't believe how fitting that was. Well, but speaking of myths and legends, I've got questions for you. First up, you showed us your main character and you told us, oh, it's a Wolpertinger. How did you land on that? I don't think everyone, like beyond Germany, is that familiar with this creature.
Shall I take this question? In the beginning, we had a bull as a character, and which was quite random. I don't actually know how we got to that point. So we needed a game setting that gives us a little bit direction on where we want to go and what the visual style should look like in our game. And we thought that German myth and legend are not that commonly used, especially not in the genre. So we thought, okay, nice fit. And have you ever looked at Wolpertinger? He's basically the representation of cute and macabre. So I think it's a very good fit for us.
I think so too. I'm a big fan, that's for sure. I've gotten to know you as quite fun-loving people over the last couple of months, and as big lovers of memes and jokes overall, and I think so has the audience. I heard those chuckles, and you did too. And so now I'm wondering, should we also keep our eyes open for some memes or some inside jokes in the final game, or is it going to be a rather grim and serious tale?
Well, you're definitely right. We do love to make jokes and post memes about stuff, but we for sure don't want to make like a meme game or even a brain rot game or something like that. We want to create a game world that takes itself seriously. But that being said, even in darker and grim settings, we do see the relevance of jokes and humor. I mean, there's a reason why gallows humor exists. And we think it even highlights the darker parts even more. So there will definitely be some humor and some jokes in our game, but it will be centered within the world.
Sounds like the perfect balance then. Thank you so much. It was lovely to have you those last 3 months, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the incubator year with you. Can't wait to see the other tales you'll craft.
Thank you.
Year. So the fourth game on the stage tonight, and the big topic now is nostalgia. So nostalgia is something we feel when listening to music, watching Christmas movies, or when playing older video games. But as all of us know, our memories and the actual gameplay of these games may differ. So our next game, Fading Skies, aims to deliver a fresh take on the charm of PS2 and the GameCube era by blending classic 3D platforming with modern action RPG elements. And it is a real passion project. So please welcome to the stage Ronja and Mark from Distant Blue.
Since I woke up in this place, I've been trying to understand what I'm supposed to do. What you want me to do. But look around. The planet is literally falling apart. Even if it turns everyone against me, I'm not going to sit back and watch it all fade away.
So, hi everyone, we're Distant Blue, the developers of Fading Skies. And just like our protagonist Rin, we don't want to sit back and watch something fade away that's very close to our heart. In our case, it's not the entire world, but the era of PS2 and GameCube's action adventures. Games like Jak and Daxter, Kingdom Hearts, Twilight Princess, games with a certain charm and sincerity and a sense of mystery we feel is unique to that era of gaming. With Fading Skies, we want to recapture what we experienced back then and present it in a modern and reimagined way. So a quick overview, Fading Skies is a story-driven single-player game that combines several elements of action RPG and 3D platformer. We are targeted with an estimated playtime of 20 to 30 hours, and we are targeting both PC and consoles, and are planning to release in 2027. In terms of visual presentation, we're going for a style that's similar to our inspiration, but with a modern rendering and fidelity assets. However, our goal is not just to remake those games, but rather capture what it felt like when we played them back then. So to achieve a similar sense of wonder and discovery, we also put a big focus on immersion. By, for example, using diegetic UI, so that all game elements like player health, XP, or upgrades do actually exist in the world. Or by using a one-shot camera that never cuts or leaves the protagonist's side.
So the core gameplay of Fading Skies can be roughly divided into exploration, platforming, and combat, but with each element influencing and reinforcing each other. Exploration is all about rewarding curiosity and getting out of the player's way while they're immersed in the world. So there's no minimap and no quest markers, and players can simply follow their own intuition to find not just the path forward, but also a variety of upgrades, collectibles, cosmetics, and environmental puzzles. When it comes to 3D platforming, that always stands and falls with how good it feels to control a character. So we spend a lot of time on making sure that movement feels very tactile and immediate, and only use adaptive animation to add weight and fluidity. Special abilities like the dash or flight can be unlocked and powered up over the course of the game. So platforming challenges constantly evolve and stay interesting from start to finish. In combat, players have access to several options for ranged and melee attacks, as well as special skills and stat upgrades. But especially for boss battles, we make positioning and movement a central part of the encounters as well, so players can get the most out of the platforming skills they've learned throughout the game. And of course, this requires actually giving players that sort of mobility during combat, which is why we designed the combat system to have virtually no animation lock and just let players chain different attacks and moves however they want. The world where all of this takes place in is structured like a compact and segmented open world, where each biome is treated like a unique level with its own gameplay twists and flavors. It's an open world in the sense that everything is connected and there's no loading between areas, but there's always a clear story-motivated progression through the world with Metroidvania-like branching, where players are constantly teased with objects of interest that can only be unlocked after getting certain skills and upgrades.
So, a few words about us. We are Ronja and Mark. We both work together at the Delic and Good Games here in Hamburg. Mark is a technical animator and me as a programmer. We co-founded Distant Blue for the development of Fading Skies, which is very much a passion project that we've poured our hearts and soul into for several years now. And we even actually got married during the development. The core team is just the two of us, but we've been working together with extremely talented artists who helped us shape the identity of Fading Skies from the very beginning. So we entered the incubator with a project that's already quite far along, but we never have actually released a game on our own. So that's where the Games Lift came in and helped us. It helped us, for one, to refine how we effectively present Fading Skies, but also to figure out which parts of the game are most impactful for marketing, to cover any blind spots when it comes to actually launching the game. And it also gave us a chance to leave our development dungeon and meet lovely new developers and connect with the game industry.
So as for our next steps, we are currently exploring different options to fund the final stretch of development, as well as potentially teaming up with a publisher. And we are, of course, also looking forward to all the Games Lift events that are still coming up, as well as seeing how everyone else's projects develop over the course of next year. First and foremost, though, we are very excited to actually return to our development dungeon and keep working on Fading Skies. And that's pretty much it from us for now. If you want to follow us or get in touch, definitely check our website where you can find our links and contact information. And of course, if you like what we've shown, feel free to wishlist Fading Skies on Steam as well. Thanks for checking out our presentation. And also big thanks to Gamecity for having us at the incubator.
Yeah. So everybody can see that it's like a real passion project, and it's huge what you already achieved. But first off, to have some words about your game. Which mentor could be better than somebody working on a game right now which aims to bring back the feeling of Saturday morning cartoons? So yeah, please give a warm round of applause for Daniel Marx, senior game designer at Tiny War and founder of Osmotic Studios.
Yeah, actually, nostalgia is a big topic in your game, and I'm always reminded that I met Ronja back at the Delic, like 12 or 13 years ago. Yeah, we're getting old, I know. But also another connection is there between Loose Lagoon that was just mentioned that Tiny War is working right now on, and Fading Skies. It's both about flying and spreading your wings and taking flight, basically. And I've written a few words to that topic. So here we go. Wings to soar through the sky with. This was the dream of Daedalus, an ancient Greek inventor who sought to escape his captors. As it happens, one of the best-known game development studios in Hamburg is named after Daedalus, Daedalic. It's where you, Ronja and Mark, met when you took your first steps in the games industry. Wings to soar through the sky with. That's what Rin, the main character of your game Fading Skies, receives when she merges with her dragon, Curio. You started working on your project years ago. It's ambitious, to say the least, for a team of two. It's literally aiming for the sky. And to reach that distant blue, you noticed the pun, you knew you needed the best, most reliable pair of wings. Although you both had a lot of experience, you decided to apply for the Games Lift Incubator to learn more, to be better prepared, to fly even higher. Wings to soar through the sky with. Hopefully, the Games Lift Incubator gave you those with its workshops, mentoring, pitch practice, and feedback rounds. But more importantly, you gave wings to others there. You didn't keep your experience to yourselves. You shared it with the other teams and let them benefit from your knowledge. And anyone who listened to you would immediately feel that you pour all your heart and passion into what you do. That's what you have in common with Daedalus. He too was an inventor with passion. His passion led him away from his prison, where he soared through the sky with wings he had built all by himself. I wish that you keep your passion and make Fading Skies exactly how you want it to be. May it take you to ever greater heights. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And yeah, it's a crazy journey, and several years you're working on the game, and really along the way you not only said yes to each other as team member, but also the other more important yes. So yeah, that's cool. But how do you manage to keep the motivation high doing all the years on working on Fading Skies?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if motivation has ever been that much of an issue, because it is very much a passion project, right? It is exactly what we want to do. But it is, of course, still very taxing and exhausting at times. And that's just the way it is with games. I think everyone who works in games knows that it can be a struggle at times, and you just have to keep going and have to keep making progress. But also our demo released last year, and Kickstarter helped us a lot to just know that it's not just us who feel that passion, but there is an audience for it. There's people who are looking forward to the game. So that's been a great motivator lately, to just keep in mind that people are looking forward to what we're making.
Yeah, this was like a really successful Kickstarter campaign there. And when you entered the Games Lift, you also said like you had the question about like what are the best marketing hooks. And here and there we saw some hints of this little dragon companion. So any dragon plushies coming soon?
We'd love to have one. Definitely.
Yeah, it definitely turned out to be the fan favorite, and it was something we considered for the Kickstarter as a reward as well, but we didn't go with the physical reward route. So we're still thinking about making one eventually. If there's anyone here who has connections to great plushie experts, definitely reach out, because as we noticed, it can be quite difficult to really capture the character of something in a plushie. So yeah, open to any experts.
Yeah, let's make that happen. So contact data can be found here. So thank you very much. Your applause.
Dennis, while I've still got you up here on stage, can you imagine having to perform in front of cameras and an audience, not only for your living, but actually for your life?
Okay, that's a hard one.
That's a hard one.
You took me by surprise.
But luckily, the next team has a vision of what that could look like, and they're bringing it to the screens near you, hopefully. So please, let's welcome our final team for tonight, Team Curio Compass with their game AfterLIVE.
To the city of Limbo, a megalopolis filled with lost souls and megacorporations. Everybody in Limbo has been charmed by the new, hot reality show, AfterLIVE. In the show, teams of ghosts compete to be the city's biggest superstar, earning fame and prestige. At least until next season begins. And this season, for the first time in AfterLIVE history, a big twist has been announced. A team of humans has been added to the competition. The lucky team, Dieter, Nat, and Kara, have been taken away from their lonely lives and forced to join the show. And not just that, their bodies are up for grabs for the winners of the season. That's a hot ticket back to the world of the living, but for the losers, eternal irrelevance. Annoyed, confused, but determined, our humans try to set aside their differences and work together to win the show. But is being a reality TV superstar really such a terrible fate? AfterLIVE looks like a reality show, but it is actually a turn-based strategy roguelite. The game is a single-player experience telling the story of the humans as they try again and again to escape the city of Limbo. You play as Dieter, Nat, and Kara, who are trying to win the show. Together, they will explore the city of Limbo, fight other teams, collect haunted accessories, and make pacts with different spirits, all with one goal in mind: win the season and take your bodies back. Each run is a new episode of the show.
You will prepare your team?
You will prepare your team for the episode ahead. Once you're in the episode, you will explore the city of Limbo, get stronger, and fight other teams. Once only 2 teams are remaining, the episode ends, and you will gain some permanent rewards to use in your future runs. But Adnan, what do we actually do in the city of Limbo?
I'm glad you asked. In AfterLIVE, you won't be just fighting. You'll explore the city of Limbo looking for different ways to grow stronger. While moving through the city, you'll run into the lost souls of Limbo. You can choose how to help them and get different types of rewards. You also find hotline booths that lets you call spirits for help, because when a human gets possessed by a spirit, they gain unique supernatural abilities. You may also find the chance to film an advertisement, letting you sell out to get new fans or make your current audience even more excited about your team. The city of Limbo is crawling with entrepreneurs and their stores. Production graciously pays you in company currency for participating in the episode, and you can use that money to get items or power-ups for your next project, for your next combat. And of course, most importantly, production wants big, dramatic fights. When you enter a battle, an audience is watching both teams, and the more hype they get, the stronger you become.
If you want to imagine what our game could look like in the end, here are a few games that we think are similar to AfterLIVE. First, Darkest Dungeon. The game features roguelike map exploration similar to ours, where you choose a dungeon, and each dungeon has different enemy types and boss fights. Next, Persona 5 Tactica. The game inspires both our visual style and the smooth, flashy feel that we aim for in our combat. Another similar title is Demon School. It takes place in a surreal, strange world, and we want our game to feel equally weird, colorful, and full of personality. And finally, Final Fantasy Tactics. The game has a strong focus on character identities with its main and subclasses, and in AfterLIVE, you can combine humans and spirits to get these different class setups. Together, these games should give a good impression of what we want AfterLIVE to be, a stylish, character-focused, turn-based strategy roguelite set in a surreal world.
Sorry.
Oh, it's fine.
Now a little bit about our team. We are a small team of 3 people, so we all wear many hats, but each of us also has a main role. Felix takes the lead on game design for our project. Me, Adnan, handles most of the programming. And all art that you see in our project is created by Adri. We met at the HAW Hamburg, where we formed our team, Curio. For the past year and a half, we've been working together, creating projects in which we champion empowering narratives, using open source tools like Blender and Godot. When we came to the incubator with our master's project, and it was super exciting to be able to take part. It has been a great time, and we're very thankful to be here on stage today. At the beginning of the incubator, our game was very different. It was a turn-based volleyball game called Phasmopass. That changed, because a lot of the workshops challenged our concept on a fundamental level. We were faced with big questions like, can we really reflect all of the inspirations? Is there even a market for turn-based volleyball? And how do we tackle such a project as a small young team? The incubator gave us clear answers to those questions, but those answers showed us we needed to start fresh. A key moment in our process was the marketing workshop by Kesha Curran, which confirmed what we had already started to feel, that our game would be very hard to sell, because we were splitting our audience between turn-based players and sports players. Another issue with Phasmopass was that it was difficult for players to learn. With AfterLIVE, that needed to change. The pitch trainings with Stefan Rühl helped us sharpen our idea and help communicate it as clearly as possible what makes it unique. Now that we have finished the workshop phase, we are excited to continue developing our proof of concept. We are entering this new phase with a project that has a clearer appeal to strategy players and is much easier to pick up. We want to take it to places like the Hamburg Indie Treff and other events to test and make sure that the players understands and connects with the game. And our biggest goal is to apply for the Gamecity Prototype Fund and found our studio, so we can develop a fully marketable prototype and continue production. Thanks so much for your time. We can't wait to share more of AfterLIVE as it grows. If you want to follow our journey at Curio Games on Instagram, scan the QR code. And other than that, stay tuned for the next episode of AfterLIVE.
Thank you so much. I will definitely tune in to the first season of AfterLIVE. Also, welcome on stage, Adri. So nice that you're with us. But before we answer more curious questions up here, I would like to invite workshop host Michael Schieben, who definitely influenced all of our incubator teams very strongly. Welcome.
Thank you. So me not having 20 years of experience in the games industry, actually hardly any experience beside being here for some workshops since 6 years. So my angle to look at what you're doing, your teams are doing, is from the strategy side of a game as a product. And you're entrepreneurs, like building a game and it's a product. And in the product world and the startup world, we have a term for what happened at your team. It's called a pivot. Have you heard about a pivot? A pivot is like a turning point where you take a sharp turn. And making a pivot is not that easy because you have to cut things. You have to let go. And you have to let go of something that you've defended in pitches, that you've discussed like nights long. And it's not easy to take that decision, particularly to take such a harsh decision and make such a harsh turn as a team. But sometimes what brought you here, right, to Games Lift will not bring you there where you're aiming at. And I think that's what happened in your team, and you understood and you took the advice from all the workshops and the mentors, and you made that decision. And it takes courage, and you've been proven this courage. But also, this makes a strong team because it needs trust among the people, among the founders in that team. And you're sharing that trust as a team. And that's something, a particular spirit that you also brought to the workshops. And I think you inspired all the other teams as well, with bringing your questions, with bringing your critique, with bringing like diverse perspectives to this incubator, and bringing a lot of like empathy to the whole group, and I really celebrate that. Wait a second. I've brought you something. To mark that remarkable turning point that you made during Games Lift 2025, it's a volleyball.
Yeah.
So keep that volleyball. Because now you're making a not volleyball game. But I think there's something, and we've seen it in the illustration, that you should keep from volleyball sports. It's a team sport, right? And you play it together. And please read on the ball. And this is my wish for everyone who is going to play that game. It says like super soft play. And this is my wish for everyone who is going to play the game that you're building. And for you, I wish you the super soft founder's journey, because process determines product. And I think that's what you've shown already. So congratulations for graduating from Games Lift. Thank you.
So much, Michael, for those beautiful words and passing on so much wisdom to this young team. Of course, Team Curio Compass, we've got curious questions, as I mentioned earlier. First up, you mentioned you met at the HW. You have been working on this project, or you came in with your master's thesis project. You've been working together for a long time. I was wondering, like, when you entered the incubator, even though you have been working with each other for such a long time now, did anything change about your team dynamics, about your process, or did you stay the same?
Of course not. I think for us, the biggest thing was the sort of transition from being a student team that works on student projects to being one that will hopefully and definitely found a company together, which brings changes with it. Especially in the university, we were always juggling different projects, and we never really had the chance to plan things ahead of time. We just had to keep making things and making decisions. And with the incubator's help, we've been able to take a step back and look at what needs to be done. I mean, that helped us made the whole pivot in the first place. And yeah, that led us to just making sure we take our time and over the past month, we've made great progress with this new concept because we've been able to do this. So yeah, thanks, of course, for that opportunity.
You're welcome. No, of course, I think with those huge changes you made and the courage you proved in making such a decision, you proved yourself as being way more than a student team, like being grown up at this point. So we're so glad you incubated here with us. Now, the biggest question I'm sure that everyone here in the audience has, of course, is why does your game take place in a reality TV show?
So that would be my fault. I am a huge nerd for reality TV, and I really love it. But mostly it's because of the story you want to tell with Phasmopass. I am very interested in the duality of perception by the public versus the inner narrative of people, especially in urban spaces, and how it relates to systems of oppression. I think with a big dose of camp and some humor, reality show is a perfect setting to explore how these systems affect us all, and what it means to really break out of them. Yeah. That's kind of the answer.
Lovely. I've heard so many very sophisticated answers about reality TV at this point and what it means to society, but that was the best. So thank you. Yeah, can't wait to see your take on reality TV and the strategy genre. So I think follow the team on Instagram and wherever else. And thank you for being part of the incubator.
Yeah. So we ended with a big reveal. So what is in this bag? What is in this bag? So yes, thank you so much. Thank you for all your teams. So you did great, and not only tonight, but also over the course of the last months. You really brought so much passion into your projects, and also there was a big, lively community we have there. And yeah, I'm happy we will go on like this over the next half of the year. And we at Gamecity Hamburg, we strive to make this incubator as useful and as valuable as possible each year. But in the end, it's the teams which are really shaping our incubation program and really like the heart and soul that goes into it. And yeah, we are happy to accompany you on the way here. Yeah, and it was really also on the behalf of Maggie and Helen, who have been there with all the workshops, really seeing all of your work develop and that you have fun together. And yeah, we really can't wait to see your next steps and your next milestones. Yeah, and I'm sure that's also, this is the case for our audience here. So everybody here, you have the chance to approach the teams. Please do so tonight, and also on the chat. Yeah, feel free to follow the journey of our teams here, because this is just the beginning of these projects and these teams. And yeah, what else to say?
All that's left is to say a big thank you. Thank you to everyone who supported the Games Lift Incubator as a mentor, as a network member, or just a kind friend who told the teams every single day, you're gonna be fine, the presentation, it's gonna get done. Yes, I will proofread this. You're simply amazing. Also, a very special thanks, of course, to the Gamecity team members who are not on stage, Anna in the live chat, Maggie, the true mastermind, and also a special shout out to Judith, who truly, she was our biggest support for this event, both like in spirit, but especially in hands-on work. Thank you so much. Also, a big thanks to our colleagues at the Design Centrum, the beautiful location, who's hosting us tonight. And thanks to Simon and his live crew to really make this whole live stream even possible. And the biggest thanks, of course, goes out to you, all of you who are sitting here and who are watching the live stream. We truly couldn't do it without you, because it would be boring. So thank you so much.
A new round of Games Lift will start in fall of 2026. And if you're interested in applying for our incubation program here in Hamburg, so please feel free to reach out to our newsletter, sign up there, join our Gamecity Hamburg Discord with a very active developer community, and yeah, follow us on social media. We are very much looking forward to the games you're cooking and are eager to learn more about your projects. So please let us know. And yeah, this is all we have to say for today. So yeah, thank you and good night from Hamburg. Einer